Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in.
The first red flag should have been that his smile didn't reach his eyes. Not in his pictures, I mean. They were all so curated warm golden lighting, a casual hoodie, a dog in one photo to seem relatable. But look closer, and the eyes? They're just wrong. Empty, like he was copying what he thought a person should look like. But of course, I didn't notice that at first. I swiped right because he was hot. And because I was lonely. The weirdness didn't start until after our first conversation. We matched on a Thursday night. He messaged immediately, "Hey, you look familiar. Have we met before?" That line, so basic, right? I almost didn't respond. But something about the profile stuck with me. Maybe I did recognize him. It bugged me. I even scrolled through old Instagram pics, trying to place him. Like maybe we'd gone to the same college or had mutual friends. Nothing. So I replied, "Maybe, you look familiar too." That's when things got weird fast. We started talking a lot. Like, hours a day. He said his name was Wes, 32, worked in tech. Lived 2 neighborhoods away from mine. Everything sounded normal surface level stuff. But then he started asking really specific questions. "You still go to that coffee place on Lincoln? You switched gyms, right? You go to the one with the blue lockers now?" At first I thought I'd mentioned those things. Maybe I posted about them. But when I scrolled back, I hadn't. He was noticing things I hadn't said. So I asked, trying to keep it casual, "Wait, how do you know which gym I go to?" He took a few minutes to reply, "Lucky guess?" Then a winking emoji. I didn't respond after that. Something in my chest tightened, like I'd stepped onto a floorboard that creaked in a house I thought was empty. The next day, he messaged again. Long paragraph. Said he was sorry, that he was just intuitive and didn't mean to freak me out. Then he asked to meet in person. Said he wanted to start over. I should have unmatched him. I know that now, but I didn't. I agreed to meet him the following Sunday. We picked a very public coffee shop. Middle of the day. I got there 10 minutes early, sat by the window, and waited. At exactly 2:17 p.m., I got a text. "Turn around." I froze. My heart actually skipped. Slowly, I turned to look. He wasn't inside. I looked through the window, and there he was. Standing across the street, staring straight at me. He didn't wave. Didn't smile. Just watched. Then my phone buzzed again. "You look even better in person." My skin turned to ice. I stood up and left without meeting him. Walked straight to my car, locked the doors, and drove home. I didn't check to see if he followed that night. I woke up at 3:11 a.m. to the sound of a camera shutter. Not outside. Inside. I lay frozen. Heart pounding so hard, I thought I might throw up. My apartment was pitch black. No sound. No movement. I told myself it was a dream. Maybe a noise from my phone, anything. The next morning, I checked my front door. Still locked. Windows sealed. Nothing disturbed. Except one of the picture frames on my bookshelf had been flipped backward, the one with my parents in it. Took the day off work and called a locksmith. Got new deadbolts. Bought a security camera, and I blocked Wes. I didn't care how guilty he tried to sound in the messages he'd sent afterward. I was just trying to surprise you. I didn't mean to scare you. You said I looked familiar. I thought you wanted to know the truth. What truth? I didn't respond. 2 days later, I was scrolling Reddit to distract myself, and I saw a post on r/True Crime. User had shared a missing persons poster. My stomach dropped. It was Wes. Same face. Same hoodie. Even the same damn dog. but the name on the poster wasn't Wes. It was Nathan Keller. Missing since 2018. Last seen in Oregon. I clicked the comments. Scrolled through people speculating if he ran off, was kidnapped, or if the poster was even real. But someone had replied with a link to a news article. I clicked it. Remains identified in cold case. Nathan Keller found in shallow grave. The article was dated 2 months ago. I just sat there, staring at the screen. Cold sweat ran down my back. I read it again, slower this time. The body had been confirmed through dental records. Nathan Wes had been dead for years. Who the hell had I been talking to? The next day, I went to the police. I told them everything. Showed them the profile, the texts, the pictures. The detective listened, nodded a lot. Then he said the words I still hear when I try to fall asleep. You're not the first woman to come in about this guy. Turns out, 3 other women in the area had reported something similar. Same face, different names. Slightly altered bios. Always matched them on different apps. Always asked to meet. But here's the part that chilled me the most. The detective pulled out a folder and laid down printed screenshots. All the photos looked like Wes, but older, or younger, or skinnier. Like someone had used filters or AI to slightly tweak the same face. But in every photo, the eyes were the same. I went home that night feeling like I was being watched. I unplugged my Echo, covered my webcam, left every light on in the apartment. Around 2 a.m., I got an email. No subject line. Just a single attachment. A photo of me. Sleeping. Hair spread across the pillow. Mouth slightly open. Clearly taken from a few feet away. My bedroom light was off in the photo, but I was sure I'd left it on. I didn't scream when I saw the photo. I couldn't. I just stared at it, asleep in my bed with that cold, stomach-hollowing feeling like the floor of reality had dropped out from under me. My hands were shaking. My heart was doing this fast, fluttery panic rhythm. But all I could do was stare. I zoomed in. My blanket was pulled halfway up. The curtains behind me were closed, just like they were now. Even the glass of water on my nightstand was in the same spot. This wasn't an old photo. This was last night. I forwarded it to the detective, even though I had no idea what good it would do. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Every sound made me jump. That morning, I tore my apartment apart. Checked every closet, every cabinet, every drawer. Looked for hidden cameras, tracking devices, anything. Nothing. But that night, I did something that still makes my skin crawl. I re-downloaded the dating app. Not to talk to him, just to see if he was still there. He was. Only now his name was Mason. New job, new age. But the same face. Same dog. And one new photo I hadn't seen before. It was me. From behind. At the coffee shop. Wearing the exact jacket I'd had on when I went to meet him. The caption underneath said, "She looked better in person." I unmatched instantly. Deleted the app. I called the detective again. He didn't answer. Left a message. I started sleeping with a knife by my bed. I stopped leaving my apartment unless I had to. I even taped over the peephole in my door. But the worst part? I started seeing him, or someone like him. At the grocery store, just barely behind the cereal aisle. In the side mirror while I was pumping gas. In a parked car outside my apartment building, engine running, headlights off. Always just a glimpse. Never close enough to be sure, but always those same eyes. A week later, I got another email. Same format. No subject. One attachment. This time, it was a collage. 9 photos. All women. All asleep. All from different angles, different rooms. I was in the center. Same photo as before. No message. Just that. That was the night I stopped trying to handle it myself. I packed a bag and went to stay with my sister 3 hours away. Didn't tell anyone where I was going, not even the detective. I threw away my phone halfway there and bought a burner. Didn't even sign into my real email. For the first time in weeks, I slept. 2 days into staying with my sister, I got a call from a restricted number. I didn't answer. Then she got a letter. No return address. Handwritten. Inside was a photo of us on her front porch. From the night I arrived, we were hugging. She was laughing, but I wasn't looking at her. I was looking over her shoulder. At whoever had taken the photo. We went to the police in her town. Filed a report, handed over the photo, begged them to look into it. They said they'd keep an eye out. They didn't get it. No one really did. Not fully. This wasn't just stalking. It wasn't just online harassment. Whoever he was, he'd been in my space. In my apartment. Watching me sleep. Close enough to take photos. Close enough to touch me. And every time I tried to escape, he reminded me that he was always one step ahead. That night, I woke up gasping, not from a sound, from a feeling, like someone had been watching me sleep. Like a presence had just left the room. I sat up, listened. Nothing. I got out of bed and crept down the hallway toward the kitchen. That's when I saw it. Polaroid. Sitting on the kitchen counter. Not there before. I picked it up. My hands were trembling. It was a picture of me. From behind. Looking out the kitchen window. Wearing the exact pajama shirt I had on right now. I backed away. Heart pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. Then, I heard the soft click. From down the hall. Like a door closing. Very slowly. I grabbed the knife from the drawer and ran into my sister's room. Woke her up, locked the door, called the cops. They searched the house top to bottom. No signs of forced entry. No fingerprints. Nothing. Just the photo. The next morning, my sister got a notification from her smart doorbell. It had recorded movement at 4:12 a.m. We opened the footage. It showed a man in a hoodie walking up to the porch. He wasn't trying to break in. He just stood there. Still, staring at the door for over 6 minutes. Then he lifted something toward the camera. A photo. He held it there for a long time. When we paused the footage and zoomed in, I almost dropped the phone. It was the same photo from the kitchen. Me. From behind. That was the last straw. I left my sister's the next day and checked into a hotel under a fake name. The moment I stepped into his apartment, I knew I'd made a mistake. There was this smell, plastic, like something new out of the box, but stale too. Almost like when you walk into a storage unit. And it was cold. Not the kind of cold that hits your skin. The kind that makes your bones feel hollow. Alex said something like, "Don't mind the mess." But there wasn't a mess. That was the problem. The place was too clean. Like no one really lived there. We'd only been talking for a week. Matched on Bumble. He was handsome, clean-shaven, had this quiet kind of charm that made him feel safe. I liked that he didn't message anything creepy or over the top. His profile was basic, designer. Collects old cameras. Good coffee and late-night walks. A little too curated, maybe. But I'd matched with worse. And after the last 3 guys ghosted me or gave me the ick in person, he felt refreshingly normal. Funny, right? That's the word I kept telling myself. Normal. We'd only met once before coffee near my office, middle of the day. He wore black. Said he liked minimalism. He barely talked about himself, but he asked me a lot of questions. Not in a gross way, just persistent. What's your routine like? Are you more of a night person or morning? Do you live alone? I remember laughing off that last one like, "What, are you planning something?" And he smiled. But it didn't reach his eyes, just curious. So when he invited me over a few nights later, I said yes. He said he'd cook. He said he wanted to show me his space, which, in hindsight, was such a weird way to phrase that, but I didn't think twice about it. Because dating in your 30s is lonely. Because I was tired of ordering takeout alone and pretending I liked it. Because he was hot, And I liked his voice, because I was stupid. His apartment was on the edge of downtown, tucked behind a hardware store and a boarded-up nail salon. The kind of building you wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. The hallway light was flickering when I walked up. The door opened before I knocked. He smiled and said, "You're exactly on time." I like that. Inside, the place was too quiet. No music, no TV, just the sound of the rain tapping the windows and my boots squeaking on the hardwood. The lights were dim, warm-toned, low. A single candle burning on the table. He'd already plated the food, some kind of pasta with a green sauce that smelled faintly like mint. "Homemade pesto," he said. "With walnuts," I thanked him. Sat down. Took a sip of wine he poured me, dark red, almost black. He didn't drink any himself. He just watched me. I tried to keep it light. "Okay, so what kind of designer are you really?" He tilted his head. "I make things. Arrangements. Collections, mostly." "Collections of what?" He smiled, but not with his mouth. "You'll see." We talked. Sort of. I asked about his family. He changed the subject. I asked where he grew up. He said, "A lot of different places. Doesn't really matter." I made a joke about serial killers being vague like that. He didn't laugh. Just said, "Maybe they're not vague. Maybe people just don't ask the right questions." Halfway through the meal, I noticed something. On the wall, across from the table, there were frames. 8 of them. Black, square, spaced evenly. But there weren't photos inside, just pieces of hair, pressed flat, sealed behind glass. Different lengths. Different colors. It didn't register at first. I thought maybe it was art. But something in me knew better. I asked, "Is that hair?" He looked at it like he'd forgotten it was there. "Every strand has a story." Then he stood up and said, "Want to see the rest?" I should have said no. Should have made an excuse. My stomach was already turning. I felt lightheaded, maybe from the wine, maybe from something else. But I stood up, followed him, through a short hallway, past a kitchen so spotless it looked like a showroom, toward a door at the very end. The air got colder as we walked. He opened the door. The room was small. No windows. One single bulb hanging from the ceiling, casting shadows that moved when the cord swayed. And the back wall, it was covered in mannequin heads, dozens of them, lined up on floating shelves. Perfectly spaced. Each one had a wig. Styled hair, different shades, cuts, textures, blonde curls, jet black bobs, auburn waves, but a lot of them, too many, looked just like mine. Same dirty blonde. Same shoulder length. Even the same part on the left. I froze. My throat went dry. What is this? I asked. He stepped past me, touched one of the wigs gently, like it was fragile. People throw themselves away. They change to survive. I keep the version that matters. I backed toward the door. I don't get it. Are these costumes? He didn't answer. Just turned to face me. You're even better in person. I didn't wait for more. I turned and ran. Didn't even put my boots back on. Just grabbed my bag and bolted down the stairs barefoot. Heart punching my ribs. He didn't chase me. He didn't call out. He just let me go, like he knew I'd be back. I got in my car and drove for 20 minutes before I pulled over. I was shaking so hard I couldn't hold the wheel. I called my best friend. Told her everything. She begged me to go to the police. I did. Filed a report. Showed them his profile, his address. Told them everything. They didn't care. No threat. No assault. No crime. Just a guy with some wigs. They told me, unless he actually hurts you, there's not much we can do. 3 nights later, a package showed up at my apartment. No name. No stamp. Just sitting on the welcome mat, like someone had placed it there gently. Inside column A. Wig. My exact hair color. Styled how I wore it on our date. And underneath, A Polaroid dot of me dot at the restaurant, laughing, taken from outside the window. I hadn't seen a flash. I hadn't even known he had a camera. I moved in with my sister that night. Told my landlord I needed out. Paid a penalty fee. Didn't care. Alex didn't message me again. Not right away, but every few days. A package would show up. Always the same thing. A wig, a photo, and once a note, just 5 words, typed in all caps. You're my favorite so far. One night, I asked my sister to look through the dating app for me. I couldn't bring myself to re-download it. She searched for his profile. It was gone, but a new one had popped up. Different name, different age, different job, but the same face, same dead smile, same pale blue eyes. She matched with him. To see what would happen, he messaged her immediately. You seem like someone who notices details. I couldn't sleep that night. Not just because my sister had matched with him under a new name and job, because when she showed me the message he sent, my whole body locked up. You seem like someone who notices details. That's exactly what he'd said to me when we matched. Word for word. And now he was saying it to her. She thought it was a sick joke at first. Maybe he's just copy-pasting, she said. Creeps reuse lines. But then she got a second message. Do you like your hair curly or straight? That's when she got scared, because her profile photo had her with curly hair. But she just posted a story on Instagram private account. Only mutual friends with her hair straightened. There was no way he should have seen that. Unless he was watching us. We decided not to respond. We reported the profile. Blocked it. I wanted to go to the police again, but I knew what they'd say. He hadn't done anything. Not officially. We stayed up all night with the lights on. Both of us in the living room. Me gripping a fireplace poker. My sister holding a knife from the kitchen. Nothing happened. No noises. No knocks. No packages. In the morning, I opened the front door to get some air, and there it was. A Polaroid. Stuck between the door and the frame. It showed the two of us, me and my sister, sleeping on the couch, curled up under the same blanket. It was taken from inside the house. We screamed. Called 911. Police came with dogs. Searched every inch. No sign of forced entry. No fingerprints. No hair. No fibers. Nothing. They said maybe it was photoshopped. A prank. Maybe we staged it. I wanted to throw up. After that, I didn't feel safe anywhere. We covered the vents. Installed new locks. Taped black paper over the windows. Got cameras, inside and out. Nothing. For 5 days. Then a package came. Bigger this time. Inside Cologne 6. Wigs. All in different styles. All matching my sister's hair. And a new note. Typed again. I collect beautiful things. She's next. We packed our bags and left that night. Went to a hotel an hour away. Paid cash. Told no one. Didn't use our real names. Turned our phones off. I barely slept. I kept waking up to check the door, the windows, the closet. Every shadow looked like him. 3 days in, we got a call from the front desk. Hey, the guy said, there's a man asking for you. Says he's your brother. We froze. Neither of us had a brother. We told the front desk to tell him to leave. They said he already had, but he left something at the desk. When we got down there, they handed us a manila envelope, inside a USB drive and a printed photo. It was my sister. Naked, tied to a chair, eyes wide, mouth gagged. I screamed. My sister passed out. Hotel staff called 911. Police came, took the drive, asked us questions for hours, but when they opened the USB, it was empty. Nothing on it. And the photo? Printed on cheap paper. No fingerprints, just a note on the back. Soon. That night, I finally understood something I hadn't let myself believe. He wasn't just a stalker. He wasn't just someone who got off on watching. He was practicing. perfecting his routine. Collecting. Cataloging. And now, he was escalating. I started researching missing women. Ones from our area. Girls who'd gone on dates and disappeared. Reddit threads. Facebook posts. News archives. And slowly, the pieces started forming a pattern. There were at least 11 women, all mid-20s to 30s. All active on dating apps. All with similar facial structures, hair lengths, body types. All had posted recently about meeting someone new. None of them were ever found. One Reddit thread chilled me to my core. It was written by a user named Lux Veins. She said she'd matched with a man named Cameron. He took her to his apartment. She got creeped out. Left early. The next day, she got a wig on her doorstep. With a note that said, "You left too soon." That was her last post. That was 6 months ago. I tried to find her. Sent messages. Tracked the username. Nothing. No updates. No digital trail. Like she vanished. At that point, I stopped sleeping. I kept picturing his hands. His quiet voice. The way he said he liked collecting things. I remembered the way he stood behind me when I looked at the wall of wigs. Like he was watching me fit into the pattern. Like he'd already picked out a place for mine. Then, 3 nights ago, I woke up in the hotel bed. And my sister was gone. No note. No texts. Her phone was on the bathroom counter. Panic doesn't feel like a scream. It feels like your body is a balloon and someone just cut the string. Checked the whole hotel. Nothing. Security footage showed her walking out alone. At 3:12 a.m., wearing a hoodie. Head down. I couldn't make out the face, but the hoodie looked just like the one Alex wore on our first date. I begged the police for help. Showed them the photo. Told them everything again. They searched. Still searching. Nothing. Then last night, a package came for me, delivered to the front desk. No sender. No tracking. Inside on another Polaroid. My sister. Sitting in a chair. Hair cut short. Eyes swollen. Behind her the wall. The one from Alex's apartment. But now, the shelves were full. At least 12 wigs. And I knew the last 2. One was mine. Styled like I wore it the night I ran. The other was hers. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm writing this from a public library. I haven't been back to the hotel. I haven't eaten. But he sent one more message. This time to my email. A video. Just 6 seconds. A slow pan across the wig wall. And at the end, new mannequin. Empty. She never came back. I know how that sounds. People disappear all the time. But this wasn't like that. This was calculated, precise, and worse. No one but me seemed to care. I'm the last person who saw her. And I can't sleep, can't eat, can't breathe right anymore. Because I keep thinking, what if it wasn't random? What if it was me? What if it was because of me? We met on a dating app. Hinge, I think. Or maybe Bumble. They all blur together after a while. Her name was Casey. She had the kind of smile you think about at red lights. Warm, tilted to the side. Her photos were natural, like someone else had taken them. Not staged or overly edited. Her bio said, "Good coffee, dark movies, and bad ideas. Swipe at your own risk." It felt real. Not like the usual string of travel pics and shallow prompts. I messaged her. Told her I liked that she mentioned bad ideas. She replied, "They usually make the best stories." We hit it off fast. Our chats were nonstop movies, music, awkward childhood stories. She was sharp, sarcastic in the best way. We joked about going on the worst first date ever. I said I'd bring a fake mustache and a trench coat. She said she'd pretend not to know me. We met on a Tuesday. Low stakes. Early evening. Coffee, not drinks. A place halfway between both our neighborhoods. I got there first. She texted. On my way, and I watched the door like an idiot. nervous in a way I hadn't felt in years. Then she walked in, exactly like her pictures, but somehow more grounded. She looked real, not filtered, not posing. Black jeans, oversized sweater, chipped black nail polish. She smiled when she saw me. The date went well. I mean, nothing insane. Just easy conversation, laughter, a shared scone. She told me about her job, freelance design work. Liked working late. Night owl. She lived in a basement unit and said the constant darkness helped her focus. I joked about her being a vampire. She leaned in and whispered, "Maybe I am." Then sipped her drink like she'd said nothing weird at all. It was fun. Too fun. When we left the coffee shop, we stood by her car for a few minutes talking. She kept looking at me like she wanted to say something, but didn't. I asked if she wanted to hang out again. She smiled and said, "Absolutely." Then she got in her car. That was the last time anyone saw her. The next day, I texted her, still thinking about that scone. "You're a bad influence." No reply. Okay, not weird. People get busy. Next day, "Hey, wanna try that Thai place we talked about?" Still nothing. That's when I checked her social media. Gone. Her Instagram was suddenly deactivated. Her Hinge profile was deleted. Even her Venmo, where I'd spotted her the night we matched, was wiped clean. It was like she'd never existed. I started to get that feeling. You know, the one like you're standing on the edge of something and can't see the bottom. I called the coffee shop. Asked if anyone had turned in a wallet. Made it sound casual. The girl on the phone said, "Are you the guy she was with?" My blood went cold. "Yeah, why?" She was quiet for a second. Then said, "She left her phone here. It's weird. Still hasn't come back for it." I drove straight there. It was behind the counter, dead battery, no lock screen. I asked if I could take it. They said yes. No ID, no card, no way to contact her. I took it home. Plugged it in, and everything got worse. The phone powered on. Immediately started buzzing with missed calls and texts from one number. No contact name. Just message after message. "Where are you? You're late. I'm getting tired of this game. You're not going to disappear again. Answer me, Casey. I warned you." I opened the call log, dozens of calls. All from the same number. Going back weeks. Sometimes at 3 a.m., 5 a.m., once at 6:13 p.m. on the night of our date, right after she walked into the cafe. I called the number. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. A robotic voice said, "The number you have reached is not in service." Blocked or spoofed. I didn't leave a message. I just sat there, staring at the phone. There were no photos on it. No apps except the basics. Messages, email, calendar. The only other saved number was a contact named J. No last name, one thread of messages, all from her. I saw him again. He knows I changed my number. He's watching the apartment. "Should I come stay with you? If anything happens to me, check the red door." That was the last message. Sent 3 days before we met. I didn't sleep that night. The phrase stuck in my head like a song lyric. Check the red door. I didn't know what it meant, but I couldn't shake it. The next morning, I went back to the coffee shop. Told them I was looking for her, that she'd gone missing. The same girl from the counter said, "Yeah, she seemed off, like paranoid." Kept looking over her shoulder. She paused, like she wasn't sure she should say more, then added, "She told me something weird, actually. Said if anything happened to her, to remember the number 231. 31? I repeated. She nodded. "Yeah, I thought it was a joke." But she seemed serious. Scared, almost. I couldn't focus the rest of the day. I kept checking the phone, reading and rereading the texts. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face again, her smile, her eyes. That last wave goodbye. And then I remembered something. She'd told me her apartment was in a basement unit. She said the darkness helped her focus. That detail. It stuck. I opened maps and searched the address she'd given on the app before we met. It led to a rundown duplex. Low-income area. And behind the house, barely visible on street view, was a second entrance. Down a short concrete staircase, a red door, I swear to you. I stared at that image on the screen for 10 full minutes. Then I put on my jacket and left. The duplex was quiet. Late afternoon. The main house had a broken porch light and sagging siding. I walked around the back. The red door was there, faded, chipped at the bottom. No visible lock. I knocked. Nothing. Knocked again. Still nothing. I looked around, no one watching. Then I tried the handle. It opened. The inside was dark. Freezing cold. The air smelled like mold and something chemical, maybe bleach. I called her name. No answer. Took out my phone, turned on the flashlight. Everything was still, too still. Like the air hadn't moved in days. There was furniture, couch, bookshelf, bed. But it felt hollow, like a set piece. And then I saw it. A camera, mounted in the corner of the ceiling, pointed directly at the bed. I backed up. Bumped into the door frame. Spun around and froze. There were dozens of small holes in the wall. Pinholes. Like something had been drilled. Tiny gaps, maybe for audio wires. Or spy cams. I turned to leave and noticed something on the floor. A rug, pulled halfway up. Underneath. A trapdoor. I'm going to stop here for now. Because I don't know how to explain what I saw down there. And because once I opened that trapdoor, I stopped being a bystander. I became part of whatever this is. I knew I should have called the cops. I should have shut the door, walked away, said nothing. But instead, I pulled the trapdoor open and went down. There was a narrow wooden ladder leading to a short tunnel, like a crawl space. My phone light barely reached the end. The air was stale, thick with mildew and something else like rotting paper. At the bottom, there was a door, steel, scratched, and on it, spray painted in red, was a single number. 231. That number again. The one Casey mentioned. I reached for the handle. It was warm. Not hot, just warm. Like it had been touched recently. When I pulled it open, a cold draft hit me like a slap. Inside was a small windowless room. Concrete floor. Walls painted black. In the center, a chair, a metal chair. Bolted to the floor. With leather straps. I stood there, frozen. The kind of frozen where your body doesn't listen anymore. There were scratches on the floor. Deep, wild ones. Like someone had kicked or dragged something. Then I saw the wall. There were photos pinned to it. Polaroids, rows of them. All women, different ages, different races, some looking scared. Some unconscious. One of them near the center was Casey, eyes wide. Tears in her makeup, tied to that same metal chair. I stumbled back, hit the wall. My breathing turned ragged. I felt like the walls were pressing in on me. I took one more photo with my phone blurry, shaking, then turned to leave. That's when I heard the floor creak behind me. I turned slowly, and there he was. A man, wearing a black hoodie, hood up. Face in shadow. But I recognized the shape. Tall, thin, hands pale and bony. I knew you'd come here, he said. His voice was flat, calm, like this wasn't a surprise. I took a step back. Where is she? He tilted his head. I liked her. But she ran. You always run. I raised my phone like a weapon. I'm calling the cops. He laughed, not loud, just a short, breathy chuckle. They've already been here. They looked around. Didn't find anything. You think this is the first time? He stepped forward. I bolted, climbed up the ladder, slammed the trapdoor shut, and threw a chair over it. Ran outside, nearly tripped, made it to my car. Locked the doors with shaking fingers. I drove straight to the nearest police station. Shoved my phone at the desk sergeant. Told them everything, showed the photo, the basement, the wall. The chair, Casey. They sent 2 officers. I followed in my car, but when we got there, the red door was gone, literally gone. boarded over, painted to match the siding. Fresh paint, still tacky. The basement had been emptied, the trapdoor covered, the furniture removed. Even the smell was different, stronger. Bleach, pine cleaner. And the wall in the basement? Smooth. No holes. No chair. No photos. I showed them the picture. They nodded, took my statement, said they'd look into it. I could tell they didn't believe me. Didn't want to believe me. People like that guy, people who plan, who disappear into cracks, they count on that. I tried to find her after that. Casey. I searched missing person databases. Hired a pie. Posted in forums. Nothing. No family listed. No real online presence. No last name that led anywhere. It was like she'd never existed. Or someone had made sure of that. But it didn't stop. Not for me. 2 weeks later, I found a package on my doorstep. No return address. Inside, a single Polaroid. Me. Asleep in my bed. The photo taken from above. From inches away. I moved that same day. New apartment, new number, quit the apps. Deleted my socials, but they keep finding me. A Polaroid slipped under my windshield wiper. One taped to my locker at the gym. One folded into a library book I didn't remember checking out. Each time, it's me. Different angles, some while I sleep, some while I'm walking. Always close, always unseen. The last one I got, it wasn't of me. It was her. Casey. Standing in a crowd. Blurry, but it was her. Hair shorter now, eyes empty, and written across the bottom in smudged ink. I told you she'd run. I don't know if she's alive, if he's keeping her, or if she's become part of whatever this is. All I know is this: he didn't pick her at random. And he didn't pick me at random either. He's still watching, and one day, I think I'll just disappear too. And some other idiot will match with him and wonder why that first date was the last. I was lying in bed next to my wife, half asleep, when my phone buzzed. Thought it was work. Looked at the screen, new match on Bumble. I stared at it like I'd forgotten how to read, because I hadn't used Bumble in over a year, and I was married. I thought maybe it was a glitch. I mean, my account had to be long dead, right? I got off the apps before I even proposed, but when I opened the notification, there it was. My profile, my photos, my name, my old job title from 2 years ago, and under it, active now. I panicked. First thought, I'd been hacked. Second, someone was catfishing people with my pics, but the match was with someone nearby. It said we'd both swiped right. I hadn't swiped anything. And the weirdest part? The profile I matched with, her name was Melissa. No last name. Just a photo. Black and white. Her face partially obscured. No bio. Just, I've been waiting. I didn't show my wife. I know how that sounds. But I didn't want to freak her out over what I still thought might be some weird scam. I unmatched immediately. Deleted the app again, just in case. Thought that was the end of it. But the next morning, while I was brushing my teeth, my wife knocked on the bathroom door and said, "Hey, did you forget to log out of your other account?" I froze, toothbrush still in my mouth. What account? I asked. She held up her phone. Tinder. My face. My name. Again. She wasn't yelling. Not yet. Just standing there with this look on her face, like someone had dropped a glass of cold water on her and she was waiting to feel it. I swear to God, I didn't make that, I told her. I haven't had Tinder in years. She didn't say anything, just stared at me, then turned the phone around and showed me the profile. It was recent. The photo was from our trip to Tahoe. I hadn't posted it anywhere. Where did this come from? She asked. I had no idea. She wasn't angry, just quiet. That made it worse. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe someone's stealing my photos. She didn't laugh. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the Bumble profile. The match. The message. I've been waiting. I tried to find that account again. but it was gone. No Melissa. No trace. The next night, things got worse. My wife woke me up at 3:17 a.m. She was standing over me, shaking my shoulder. "I just got a DM," she whispered. "On Instagram." She showed me her phone. From an account with no posts, no followers. Just a message. He's still swiping. And attached a screenshot of me, matching with someone on Hinge, timestamped 10 minutes ago. She looked at me like she didn't know who I was anymore. "I swear to you," I said, sitting up, shaking, "I haven't touched those apps. I don't even have them installed." But the screenshot looked real, like it had been taken from her own phone. Even had my location enabled. It showed the exact street we lived on. The next morning, she packed a bag and left. Said she needed space. I didn't blame her, but I didn't know what to do. Was I being framed? Was someone messing with me? I went back into my old emails. Searched for Bumble, Tinder, Hinge. Tried every password I could remember. Nothing worked. But then, I got an email. No subject line. Just a single sentence. "You should have stayed on the apps." I clicked reply. Wrote, "Who is this?" No response. That night I got curious. Opened Reddit. Searched my name, my face, anything I could think of. Found a thread. r/dating nightmares. Someone had posted about me. Said I'd been messaging them nonstop. Said I'd love bombed them. That I said I was married but wanted to leave her. All of it was fake. I'd never said any of it. But there were screenshots. Long paragraphs. My face next to each one. And they sounded just like me. Even used phrases I actually say. And then another message. This time, in my inbox from Melissa. Subject, "I saw your wedding photos." Message body, "She doesn't know you like I do. You always come back. You always match with me eventually." I didn't even remember taking wedding photos. That's how rattled I was. But when I opened Melissa's email, there they were. Attachments. 3 pictures. Me and my wife. Smiling, laughing, cutting the cake, from angles I didn't recognize, like someone had been there, at the wedding, watching us. Close enough to capture every detail. But never in the frame. The captions under each photo made my skin crawl. "You were looking at me here. She's not who you really wanted. We were supposed to get married." I called my wife. She didn't answer. Left a message. "Something is happening. I don't know how to explain it. Please don't shut me out." She didn't call back. That night I opened every old account I could. Instagram, Facebook, even a MySpace I forgot existed. I changed all the passwords. Set up 2-factor, but no matter what I did, messages kept coming from burner accounts, random usernames. Always the same. Voice, "We matched first." "She's in the way. You promised me." I started digging. Melissa. I remembered the photo from the Bumble profile. Partial face, high contrast. I reverse image searched it. Found it. Stock photo, used in a 2018 ad for a therapy app. That's when I realized Melissa never existed, or if she did, someone was using her as a cover. A mask. That night I barely slept. Every creak in the apartment felt like footsteps. At 3:03 a.m. I woke up to the front door clicking open. I grabbed the bat from under my bed, heart racing, and crept into the living room. Nothing. Door still locked, but my laptop was open. Camera, light on. Recording. There was a text on the screen. A draft, unsent. I still remember the first time we matched. "You were wearing that green sweater. The one I said brought out your eyes." I hadn't worn a green sweater in years. Not since college. I checked my closet. It was there. Folded, pressed, clean. I hadn't seen it in a decade. I called the cops. Told them someone was stalking me. Maybe a hacker. Maybe an ex. I didn't even know. They sent someone to take a statement. An officer walked through the place. Said it didn't look like a break-in. Asked if I'd taken anything recently, drugs. Sleeping meds, alcohol. I wanted to punch him. Instead, I handed over my laptop, phone, and every message I had. He left with a shrug. We'll follow up. They IDN single quotes T. 2 nights later, I got an email from my wife. Subject line: blocked. You said you'd delete the apps. You said you were done. I saw the screenshots. You're not even trying to hide it. I called her. She declined. Texted, don't contact me again. I didn't know what Melissa had sent her, but it worked. I stopped going to work. Stopped showering. I spent every hour online, trying to figure out who she was. Melissa. Was it AI? Deep fakes? Some obsessed stalker using me as bait? But the photos, the texts, the way she knew me, knew things I'd said to exes years ago, knew my handwriting, she'd sent a letter in it, knew what I wore, where I went, she'd written, you always jog past 14th and Main, you looked sad yesterday. I had jogged there, alone, headphones in. No one near me. At least I thought. I reached out to a tech guy I knew from college. Asked if someone could clone an identity, pretend to be you online. He said sure. With enough data, it's easy. Public info, socials, tagged posts, Venmo, even Ring doorbells. But then he asked, why? Did something happen? I told him. Half of it. He stopped replying after an hour, blocked me. The last time I saw my wife in person, it was outside her sister's house. I showed up, shaking, begging her to believe me. I told her I was being watched, that someone was obsessed, that they were faking my identity to destroy my life. She looked at me with hollow eyes. I saw the message you sent her, she whispered. What message? I asked. You said she was the one you should have married. I didn't say that, but someone did. Someone who sounded like me. I gave up after that. Stopped checking my inbox. Stopped answering the door. I just sat in my dark apartment, waiting. Wondering. Who was she? A hacker? A ghost? A figment of something I buried years ago? I stopped eating. Started sleeping on the couch with a knife under the pillow. Every night, I'd hear faint buzzing, notifications I refused to check. Until one night, I couldn't help myself. It was a message. No name. No subject. Just a video. I clicked. It was me. Sleeping. Camera angle from above. Breathing slow. Mouth slightly open, just like the Polaroid from weeks ago. Except, this one ended with something new. Frame of someone stepping into view. Blurry, tall. Wearing my old green sweater, holding a phone. Smiling. Just like me. It started as a joke. I matched with him on a random Tuesday night after work, glass of wine in hand. Halfway through a binge spiral, his profile was nearly empty. Just one photo. Blurry. Low lighting. A guy standing barefoot in the woods at night. No shirt. Long hair, skinny. And the bio. Do you believe in demons? That was it. No age, no job, no location. Normally, I would have swiped left. But something about it felt weirdly sincere. Like he wasn't trying to be edgy or ironic. So I swiped right. Because I was bored. Because I thought I could make fun of it later. Because, let's be honest, there's something magnetic about people who don't care if they make sense. We matched. Instantly. His name popped up as L. Just the letter. His first message came 2 seconds later. You shouldn't have done that. At first, I laughed. Thought it was part of the bit. So I messaged back. Matched with a Deejman? Sounds like my ex. He didn't reply right away. Then 5 minutes later, don't sleep in your bed tonight. I stared at the screen. It didn't feel like flirting. It felt like a warning. I sent back. Okay, cool. Creepy roleplay guy. Blocked. But something stopped me. I hovered over the block option, but I didn't press it. Instead, I checked his profile again. Gone. Vanished like it never existed. The match disappeared too. That should have been it. Just some weird interaction with an edgy LA Harper or unhinged poet. But later that night, lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not the message itself, but the timing. The way he matched instantly. Like he was waiting. And the line, "Don't sleep in your bed tonight." It hit different. Like it wasn't meant to scare me. Like it was meant to help. At 2:03 a.m. I woke up gasping. My room was freezing cold. And I mean fridge cold. I could see my breath in the dark. I sat up, teeth chattering, trying to remember if I'd left the window open. I hadn't. Everything was shut, locked, but the cold was unreal. And then I noticed the corner. Something was off about it. Not movement, just a presence. Like my brain knew there was a shape there, even if my eyes couldn't see it. You ever feel a person watching you in pitch black? That slow, animal part of your mind starts screaming before you know why. That's what this was. I turned on the bedside lamp. Corner was empty, but the air stayed cold. I stood up and walked over. Reached out. Nothing there. And then out of nowhere my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. Too late. I looked back at the bed, and the blanket was pulled down. Like someone or something had just climbed under it. I didn't sleep. I sat in my bathtub. Lights on. Door locked. Knife from the kitchen on my lap. By morning, the cold was gone. Everything felt normal again. But I knew it wasn't. That afternoon, I got a package. No return address. Inside was a single item. An old school flip phone. When I opened it, it powered on. One contact saved in it. I almost threw it in the trash, but something in me said don't. That night, the phone rang. Ringtone. Something old. Staticky. I didn't answer. It rang 3 times. Stopped. Then my real phone buzzed. Unknown number. New text. They saw you. Both phones in the freezer. It sounds stupid, but I read somewhere that stops signals. Like maybe if they couldn't find me digitally, they couldn't find me at all. I sat on the kitchen floor for hours, shaking, lights on in every room. No more cold. No more texts. Just silence, but not peace. The next night, I was brushing my teeth when I heard it again. That ringtone. The old school flip phone. Ringing from inside the freezer. I didn't move. I just stared at the door like it might explode. 3 rings. Then silence. I finally opened it, hand trembling. The phone screen blinked. One new voicemail. I pressed play. Static. Then a voice. Soft, low, not L's. A woman's voice. You shouldn't have invited him. They follow who he marks. I dropped the phone. I wanted to believe this was just a prank. A deeply unfunny prank. But there was something in the voice. A sincerity. Like someone trying to warn me from the other side of something I couldn't see. I didn't sleep in my bed again. I started locking myself in my car at night, with the engine off and a blanket. Better to freeze than let whatever was in that room touch me. 2 nights later, I got another call. Not from the flip phone. From my phone blocked number. I answered. Silence. Then the same voice. They like patterns. You kept swiping. Who are you? I asked. My voice cracked. What the hell is going on? She didn't answer. Just, he was the invitation. You opened the door. I hung up. I tried to go to the police. Said someone was stalking me, sending threatening messages. They were polite. Wrote it all down. Said they'd file a report, but there was no crime. No name. No proof. One of them asked me if I was on any medications. I left before I started screaming. That night, I went back through every app I'd ever used. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, even the weird niche ones. I searched for him. The blurry photo. Anything. Nothing. I checked my camera roll. Screenshots. I knew I took a screenshot of his profile. Gone. Wiped. Every single one. Around 2 a.m., I dozed off. Just for a second, and woke up to whispers, not voices. Just whispers. Like 5, 6 people talking over each other in a language I didn't understand. The walls felt alive. The ceiling was breathing, and the shadows in the corners weren't just shadows anymore. They were watching. Waiting. The flip phone buzzed. I picked it up. It's from L. You slept in the bed. I turned around. My bed was made, but the pillows were indented, like someone had been lying there. Drove 3 hours to my cousin's house. Didn't say why. Just showed up with a bag and dead eyes. She let me crash in her guest room. I didn't tell her anything, not until the next morning, when she said, "Weird question, who's the guy in the hallway last night?" I went cold. "What guy?" She blinked. "I thought it was your friend. You were talking to him. Around 4 a.m. I never left this room," I said. Her face drained. "I thought I was dreaming." We checked the hallway camera. There was no man, but at 4:07 a.m., the feed glitched. Right outside my door. Just static for exactly 13 seconds. I left that afternoon. Drove to a motel. Paid in cash. Burned the flip phone in a trash barrel behind a gas station. I thought that would be it, that I'd cut the thread. But yesterday, I woke up to an envelope under the door. Inside, a photo of me sleeping, taken from above. On the back, handwritten in red ink, "Do you believe in demons yet?" I do now, and I think one's been watching me ever since I swiped right. Maybe L wasn't the threat. Maybe he was trying to warn me, but now it doesn't matter, because I opened the door, and I don't think I can close it. They say if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. But with him, it didn't feel fake. It felt curated, polished, controlled. He was the most perfect guy I'd ever matched with. And that's what scared me. His name was Jamie. We met on Hinge. Every photo looked like it had been pulled from a J. Crew catalog button-ups. Clean apartment in the background. Perfect dog, perfect teeth, perfect lighting. His prompts were witty, but not too try hard. Let's make sure our first date isn't a podcast-worthy horror story. I'll pick the wine if you pick the music. My love language is bringing you coffee without asking. Ooh, hi. Rolled my eyes when we matched, but I still replied. Because I'm not immune. He messaged me within 10 minutes. Said something clever about my playlist. Screenshot in one of my photos. The banter was instant, effortless. It was like we already knew each other. We texted all day. Then the next day. Then he asked if I wanted to meet up Friday. Not for drinks. Not Netflix. Dinner. A real reservation. Somewhere fancy. He picked me up on time. Clean car. Dressed sharp but not showy. He opened the passenger door for me like a goddamn movie character. He smelled like cedarwood and fresh laundry. His hands were warm. The date was perfect. Conversation flowed. No awkward silences. He made eye contact. Asked questions. Laughed at the right moments. It was so smooth. It almost felt scripted. Halfway through dinner, I told him, "You're really good at this." He smiled. At what? Dating. Being charming. Not making it feel weird. He tilted his head like he was thinking, then said, "It's easy when it's real." And he said it like he meant it. Like I was special. Like he was done looking. After dinner, he didn't push for anything. Just walked me to the car, complimented my laugh, said he hoped I got home safe, then texted me an hour later, still smiling. "When can I see you again?" I melted. That night I did what everyone does when they like someone too much too fast. I Googled him. Jamie Thomas. Product designer. Lived in the city. I found his LinkedIn. Looked legit. His Instagram was private. Profile pic matched his Hinge. 2K followers. Nothing weird. In fact, too clean. No tags. No photos with friends. No stories. No highlights. All signal. No noise. Still, I let it slide. Second date was even better. He cooked for me. His place was spotless, decorated like an Airbnb. He played vinyl, made cocktails, even had a candle that matched his cologne. That's when the first chill hit me. Because who plans that much? Who makes everything smell like them? That night I stayed over. We didn't sleep together. He didn't even try. Just held me, warm and still, breathing like someone who'd practiced. And before I drifted off, he whispered, "You're my favorite so far." I laughed. Thought it was cute. So far? He kissed my shoulder and said, out of the apps. Then he fell asleep, or pretended to. In the morning. He made breakfast, and when I went to use his bathroom, I noticed the drawer under the sink was open, just a crack, inside. Stacked neatly like library cards. Polaroids. Dozens. I pulled one out. It was a girl. Sleeping. Same bed. Same sheets. Same pillowcase I had just woken up on. Her eyes were closed. Her mouth slightly open. The caption in pen, "Chloe, 5 stars." My stomach dropped. I flipped through more. Kara, 5 stars. Elise, 5 stars. Morgan, 5 stars. All sleeping. Different girls. Same pose. Same bed. Same goddamn penmanship. I put the photos back exactly how I found them, closed the drawer, went back to the kitchen, and smiled like I hadn't seen anything. Told him I had to run. He kissed my cheek. Told me to drive safe. In my car, I called my best friend and lost it. I told her everything. The drawer. The photos. The way he said I was his favorite so far. She said, maybe he's just a creep. A narcissist. Likes keeping trophies. But I didn't believe it, because of the labels. The ratings. The way he documented everything. It wasn't random. It was intentional. That night, I went back through our texts. And noticed something that made my blood run cold. All the messages? They were perfect. No typos. No AUTOCORREC . Every word spelled right. Perfect punctuation. Every time. I scrolled all the way back to the beginning. He never sent a sloppy message. Not even once. So I Googled again. This time deeper. Reddit. Facebook groups. Old dating forums. Then I found it. A thread on R True Crime Unsolved. Title: Any women in SF remember a guy named Jamie T? Met on Hinge? Something feels off. Part 2. The Reddit thread had 41 comments. Most were theories, nothing concrete, but scattered between the jokes and speculation were women, real women, describing the exact same guy. Jamie, tall, charming, designer, met on Hinge. His place smelled like cologne and cedar. Like a catalog. He cooked for me. Played vinyl. Gave me a glass of wine. I don't remember getting sleepy. But I woke up alone in his bed. One woman said she tried to take a selfie in his apartment and he told her not to. Said he liked to keep some things private. Another said he never let her open the hallway closet. He was perfect. That's the thing. Too perfect. It was like he studied me in advance. And the most chilling comment: check under the sink. If the Polaroids are still there, run. I screenshotted everything. Then I went to the police, brought the screenshots, the text history, told them about the drawer, the women on Reddit, everything. They wrote it all down. Promised they'd look into it. But you know how this goes. There's no crime in being weird. They needed someone to come forward. File an official report. I told them I'd try to find the other women. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at my ceiling and thought about the photos. How they were all labeled the same way. 5 stars. Why 5? Were there any that weren't? Were there more somewhere else? A week passed. Jamie kept texting. When can I see you again? Thinking about that night. You're kind of stuck in my head. I played along, told him I was busy, that I just got him a new freelance project, that I was helping a friend move. He didn't push, but he didn't stop. And every text felt like he was checking in, like he was keeping score. Then I got an Instagram DM from a private account. No profile picture. One message. I was a 4-star. That's it. I replied instantly. Who is this? Did you date Jamie? No response. The account vanished. The next morning, I found a manila envelope on my front porch. No stamp. No return address. Inside were photos, but not Polaroids. These were glossy, professional. All of them of me, walking to work, sitting in my car, at my gym, through the window of my apartment. All taken from a distance, except the last one. It was me sleeping. Same bed, same pose. Caption in pen. You 5 stars. I threw up in the sink, called the police again. They came, took the photos, asked if I had any enemies. I told them again. Jamie. They asked if I had proof he took them. I didn't. The drawer was hearsay. The Reddit thread wasn't evidence. I was losing it. So I made a decision. I told him I wanted to see him again, said I missed his cooking. He replied within a minute. I was hoping you'd say that. We planned for Saturday, 8 p.m., his place. I didn't go alone. My friend Alexa is a paralegal. Sharp, fearless. She helped me prep. We planted a mic on me, hid a camera in my necklace. I had pepper spray in my purse and a kitchen knife duct taped under my coat. She waited in a car across the street, watching the building. When I knocked, Jamie opened the door like he hadn't just been stalking me. Same perfect smile, same warmth. You look amazing. He poured wine, played records, lit a candle, and I smiled. Played my part, but my heart was thudding in my ears because I knew what I was looking for. When he went to the kitchen to check the pasta, I snuck down the hall, found the bathroom, opened the drawer. Polaroids were gone. All of them, replaced with a small wooden box. Inside, a velvet pouch. I opened it. Inside was a single photo of me. Sleeping. Same caption. You 5 stars. But this time, it had a date. That night I froze. He had taken it already, from that night. I hadn't even been there yet. Behind me, I heard his voice. You weren't supposed to find that. I turned around. He wasn't smiling. His eyes were flat, empty. He stepped forward, blocking the doorway. I really liked you. I gripped the pepper spray, aimed, fired, caught him in the eyes. He screamed, stumbled back. I shoved past him and ran out the door, down the street. To Alexa's car. She floored it before I even got the door shut. We went straight to the cops. This time they had enough. They raided his place that night. And what they found. Not just my photo. Hundreds. Women. Different cities. Different years. Some of the photos went back a decade. All 5-star ratings. They arrested him. Charged him with stalking, harassment, unlawful surveillance. They're still trying to link him to disappearances. But he was careful. Too careful. No prints. No DNA, just pictures. I changed my name. Moved out of state. I still get nervous when I see a camera, or when someone tells me I'm perfect. But what stays with me the most is the empty drawer, because I saw the real ones. The drawer with the 5-star girls. But where did he keep the 1 stars? We went to high school together. Her name was Marissa Lane. I hadn't seen or heard her name in almost a decade, until she showed up in my matches. Same smile, same dark eyes, same scar on her chin. But here's the thing. Marissa died 3 years ago. Car crash. Everyone in our hometown talked about it. Her obituary was posted all over Facebook. Candlelight vigil, fundraisers, photos of her graduation, and her little brother holding a sign that said, "We miss you." Rissy. I wasn't close with her, but I remembered her. She used to sit behind me in sophomore English and draw on the backs of her notebooks. We were friendly, but not friends, which is why I froze when her face showed up on my phone. You and Marissa matched. At first, I thought someone had stolen her photo. A catfish maybe, or a scam account. But the profile was weird. It didn't have anything fake in it. No Cash App tags, no spammy bios. Just still nearby. Still me. That was it. 3 photos. One of her sitting on a swing that I remembered from high school. One close-up of her smiling. One black and white shot that looked like it had been taken from inside a car. I showed my friend Nick. He scrolled through the profile and said, "Dude, this is some AI stuff. Probably someone uploaded her pictures." "Yeah," I said. But my stomach felt hollow, because none of those photos were ever posted online. I'd looked. Not one of them was on Facebook, Instagram, or her old tagged photos, especially the black and white one. That photo showed her with her hair tied back, looking out the window like she was waiting on something. I knew that face. I remembered it. But I'd never seen that picture before. So I messaged the profile. Just one word. "Marissa?" She replied instantly. "Hey, smiley face. I was wondering when you'd swipe right." I dropped the phone. My hands were sweating, because the emoji, the smiley with the nose, was something she used to doodle on her notebook. Always a little face with a nose. Nobody texts like that anymore. Nobody but her. I picked the phone back up and typed, "This isn't funny. Who is this?" 3 dots. Typing. Then. "I'm not trying to scare you. I just wanted to talk." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, "You died." She replied, "I know." I just sat there, staring at the screen like it was going to start bleeding or catch fire. She typed again. Before I could form a response, "It wasn't your fault." My fault? I hadn't even been there when she crashed. I hadn't seen her in years. I typed back, "What do you mean?" 3 dots appeared, stayed, disappeared, came back. She was hesitating. Finally, I wanted to talk to someone who remembered me before everything went wrong. That made my scalp prickle. People catfishing with dead girls' photos don't say stuff like that. They ask for money or nudes or whatever. This felt personal. Too personal. I typed slowly, "Where are you?" She replied, "Close." And then, "Do you still live off Brookside Road?" My heart stopped. I never told her where I lived. Not now, not back then. We weren't even friends. She once borrowed a pen from me in English class. That was it. How would she know my address? I forced myself to type, "How do you know that?" I remember things. More than you think. I slammed the app closed. Deleted it from my phone. But 2 minutes later, I got a text. "Unknown number. Deleting me won't help." I blocked the number so fast I nearly dropped my phone. My heart was hammering. My mouth felt dried out. Another text came through immediately. "A different number. I'm not trying to hurt you." I blocked that. 2. Then a third. Then a fourth. New numbers every time. "Please don't be afraid. I needed someone. You're the only one who swiped." That line hit me like a punch. I typed back, "What do you want?" "To show you what happened." The next message was a photo, black and white, grainy, taken from inside a car at night. Marissa was in the passenger seat, hair tied back, eyes wide, and behind her, in the back seat, a shape, a man. I couldn't make out his face, but the silhouette was unmistakable. Broad shoulders, head tilted down like he didn't want the camera to see him. My fingers went numb. I could barely hold the phone. Another message came. He wasn't supposed to follow. I typed, "Who is he?" "Marissa, what is this?" You knew him. A chill rolled through me like ice water. No, no way. I typed again. Who? Another photo came through. This time, it was clearer. It was the school hallway. Sophomore year. Back when we all wore those disgusting oversized backpacks and our hair was terrible. And there, I was, me, standing next to my locker, talking to someone. Marissa was behind us, in the background, and the person I was talking to, a guy named Evan, a kid from our class, quiet, weird, obsessed with horror movies, always wearing that same black hoodie, even in summer. He'd moved away junior year. At least, that's what we were told. I typed, Evan? You're saying he was there? In the car? Her reply came immediately, as if she'd been waiting for me to figure it out. He wouldn't let me leave. I felt sick. I remembered him. Remembered the rumors. How he followed girls home. How he had a whole notebook filled with drawings of people he liked. How he got suspended for threatening behavior, though the school never said what it was. And now, Marissa was saying he didn't move. He followed her, and she died running from him. The next text came before I could respond. I tried to warn you. Then another, he's not done. Then a final one. Look outside. My blood turned to ice. My breath caught. I stood up slowly. Walked to the window like I was underwater. Pulled the curtain back with 2 fingers. At first, nothing. Just the street. The parked cars. The dim glow of streetlights. Then I saw it. A figure. Low to the ground. Standing beside my trash cans. Hood up. Hands shoved in pockets. Not moving. Just waiting. Watching my window. I stumbled back. Dialed 911 with shaking hands. When the police arrived, the figure was gone. They searched the street. Checked around the house. Nothing. They took my statement. But the way they looked at me, I could tell they didn't buy any of it. Why would they? A dead girl texting me? A guy from 10 years ago stalking me? It sounded insane. I tried messaging the number again. Tried reopening the app. Nothing worked. Her profile was gone. Every message thread wiped. Every photo deleted. Like she'd never matched with me. Like she'd never existed. Except she did. And she chose me. Because I swiped. Because I answered. Because I remembered her. That was 2 weeks ago. Now every night, I hear something outside. Footsteps on gravel. Breathing under my window. A low, muffled hum that sounds like someone talking to themselves. I haven't slept more than an hour at a time. Last night, someone knocked on my door 3 slow taps, then whispered my name. Whispered it like they were smiling. The police found footprints outside. Men's size 11, leading into the woods behind my building. Not out of them. Today, I got one last text. From a number with no digits. Just blank space. It said, I can't help you anymore. He knows you saw him. Then a photo. Black dash and dash white. Not of her. Not of Evan. Of me. Sleeping. Taken from inside my room. Caption, you're next. The first time he asked me if I was real, I thought it was a joke. I mean, what else do you say when someone sends that as their opening line on a dating app? Are you real? I was lying in bed, phone balanced on my chest, half scrolling, half watching something on Netflix with the volume too low. It was late, around midnight, and I was barely paying attention to the matches piling up on this new app called Wander. It had just launched in my city and was marketed as a more human-centered way to meet people. That's what the tagline said. Less algorithm, more instinct. Whatever that meant, the whole vibe was minimalist. No swiping, no fancy bios. Just 3 pictures, 2 personal prompts, and a distance meter that showed whether the person was close, nearby, or out of range. I signed up out of boredom, not expecting much. And then I matched with Drew. His profile was odd. 1 photo. Just one dot. It was grainy and looked like it was taken in a gas station bathroom. He was standing far from the mirror, hoodie up, face partially in shadow. Not in a mysterious hot guy way, more like he didn't want to be seen clearly. His bio? Just a single line. I only match with people who are real. It was weird. But I was in a weird mood that I messaged him first, being sarcastic. I'm real-ish. Depends on the day, he replied within seconds. No, really. I need to know. Are you real? Something about it made me pause. It wasn't just a flirty one-liner. The tone was different. Flat. Serious. Like he was asking something he really needed to know. I wrote back, pretty sure. Got a birth certificate and everything. You good? He didn't reply for almost an hour. I fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, there was just one more message. Can I ask you something personal? I almost didn't respond. But curiosity is a hell of a drug. So I said, sure, go for it. Drew sent one long text. I still have it saved in my notes. Have you ever felt like someone was copying you? Not stalking you, but like mimicking? Like someone out there is trying to be you, and the more they watch, the better they get? That was the first moment I felt it. That deep, primal tug in my stomach. Like something had just leaned in too close to whisper into my ear. Because, yeah, I had felt that. Once, years ago, back in college, there was a girl named Amanda who followed me around campus. Not like a stalker. Not overt, but she started dressing like me, same denim jacket. Same messy bun, same phone case. Then she joined my study group. Changed her major. Started sitting near me in class. One day, I walked into a coffee shop and saw her ordering the same drink I always got, which wasn't even on the menu. The barista looked at us confused and said, "Wait, didn't you just order this?" I laughed it off. Told my friends it was funny. But deep down, it wasn't. It was off. So when Drew sent that message, I froze. Because how could he possibly know that memory existed in me? I typed back, carefully, "Why are you asking?" He said, "Because it's happening to me. And I think it's connected to the apps." I didn't respond right away. For the next 2 days we messaged back and forth. The conversation got more intense, not creepy, just strange. Drew claimed he'd been on over 60 dates in the past 18 months. All from dating apps. He said the women he met always seemed perfect. Too perfect. They'd say exactly what he wanted to hear. Laugh at the right moments. Quote lines from his favorite movies before he mentioned them. He said it was like they were playing the role of a girlfriend. But eventually, they'd mess up. Say something in a voice that wasn't quite right. Glitch. He told me one girl blinked backward. Like one eye at a time. Bottom lid first. I didn't know what to say to that. We met in person 5 days after matching. I chose a crowded spot downtown. A busy pizza by the slice place with an open kitchen and too many chairs shoved into too little space. When he walked in, I knew it was him immediately. Even though he looked nothing like the photo, he was cleaner than I expected. Put together. Not stylish, but not sloppy either. The hoodie was real. So were the shadows under his eyes. He saw me, smiled faintly, and sat down across from me. His first words? "You really showed up. That's good." We talked for an hour. Mostly about nonsense. Music, work, the best pizza toppings. But Drew kept looking around like he was expecting someone to interrupt us. I finally asked, "Are you waiting for someone else?" He shook his head. "I'm checking to see if they sent a double." I blinked. "A double?" He leaned in slightly. "You haven't seen one yet?" "No." He studied me for a long time. Then said, "You will, once you get close to the edge." I laughed nervously. "The edge of what?" He didn't answer. After that night, I didn't expect to hear from him again, but I did, that same night. Around 2:12 a.m., I got a voicemail. No missed call. Just the message. When I pressed play, it was just breathing, long, slow, like someone trying not to be noticed. Then, They copied you. Click. The next morning, I opened my Tinder account to see if he'd messaged there. And saw my own face looking back at me. Different profile. But my photo, one I'd never uploaded to Tinder, same hairstyle. Same smile. Same lighting from my apartment. The name was different. The age was off by 1 year, but it was me. I stared at the profile for a long time. It had already matched with several people. The chat bubbles were active. I messaged the account. "Who are you?" It replied within seconds. I knew, just better. I unmatched, deleted the app, and sat on the floor of my living room, shaking. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've received messages from at least 3 more profiles on 3 different apps, all using versions of my photos, but slightly off. One had a scar on the cheek I don't have. One had a lighter eye color. One wore clothes I'd never owned, but always wanted to. Every time they messaged me the same thing. "Are you the original?" I tried to contact Drew again. His number was disconnected. His profile on Wander vanished. I asked around in forums, on Reddit, even on Discord servers about identity spoofing, AI scams, deepfake dating profiles. People told me it's common. That tech is getting better. That nothing online is private. But no one explained why these profiles knew things I never posted, like the name of my childhood dog, the first boy I kissed. The exact dream I had last Tuesday. Then I got a package. No return address. Just my name. Handwritten. Inside was a Polaroid. It showed me, asleep in my bed. The photo was taken from above. And in the corner, scrawled in red ink, "Real enough for now. Own bed." I didn't sleep again for 3 nights. I checked every inch of my apartment. Windows locked. Door bolted. No signs of a break-in, but someone had been inside. Someone who looked down at me, took a picture, and left without a trace. Or maybe, not someone, maybe something. I tried going to the police. They looked at me like I was paranoid. I showed them the picture. They asked how I knew it wasn't staged. They didn't get it. They couldn't feel it, that deep, crawling wrongness in the air, that hum that never stopped in my ears after 2 a.m. The messages kept coming, one from a new number. "You're almost full." Then a link to another dating app I'd never heard of, Pulse. It was blank when I opened it. Then a message popped up like a live chat. "How does it feel to be the copy now?" I deleted the app, turned off my phone, but it didn't matter. I started seeing them, versions of me. At the grocery store, I passed a woman in the cereal aisle. Same height, same build, same coat. She turned, and for half a second, I swear to God, it was my face. Not similar. Not look-alike. Me. She smiled. Walked away. No cart, no groceries, just vanished around the corner. Then there were the dreams. Always the same. I'm standing in a white room with mirrored walls, but none of the reflections match. One of them blinks when I don't. One whispers something I can't hear. One stands perfectly still, even when I move. And in the dream, I always wake up to my own voice saying, "Are you still real?" I tried to find Drew again. I dug deep. Forums, Reddit threads, even the dark web. Eventually, someone messaged me from a burner account. No name, just one sentence. "You met him, you shouldn't have." They sent a file, a folder of screenshots from dozens of dating apps, all showing versions of me. Some with slight differences. Some with things I'd dreamed about, but never spoken. Some with entire conversations I'd never had, but somehow remembered. One profile said, "I'm not real, but I'm trying." Then another message came through. A voice memo. It was my voice, but warped. Slower, monotone, hollow. It said, "Identity confirmed. Transfer in progress." That night, all my devices crashed. My phone reset. My laptop wiped. My Google Drive emptied. I wasn't just being watched anymore. I was being replaced. I woke up the next morning and looked in the mirror. Everything looked normal. At first. But when I smiled, my reflection didn't single quotes T. It just watched me. Waiting. I don't go out anymore. Not because I'm scared of people, but because sometimes, when I do, people recognize me. Strangers wave. Say hey, like they know me. Ask if I'm back on the apps again. But I'm not. Not anymore. I'm not sure who's real now. Me or the thing that's wearing my face online. But one thing Drew said keeps echoing in my head. If they collect enough pieces of you, they don't need you anymore. I think they're almost done. The second I saw him standing outside the cafe, I knew something was off. It was the smile in his profile pictures. His smile had looked warm, crooked in a charming way. Slightly shy, like he wasn't used to compliments. The kind of smile that made you think he laughed with his whole chest. But in person, it was wrong. Too wide, too stiff. Like someone had drawn it on his face and told him not to let it slip. I told myself it was nerves, or maybe bad lighting, but deep down, my body had already decided. Something isn't right. His name was Joel. We met on an app called Catch, one of those you only get one match a day apps meant to mimic slow dating. He was charming through messages, thoughtful replies, little observations about the details in my photos. He remembered I'd mentioned being left-handed and used it as a segue to ask if I believed in the whole left-brained, right-brained thing. It felt natural. His photos were casual, no shirtless bathroom pics, no blurry group shots. One was of him with a dog at the beach, another in a bookstore. The last one was just him, smiling at the camera, bathed in late afternoon light. That smile was what made me swipe. That's what made it so unsettling now, seeing it in person. We got a table inside. It was a small tucked-away place. Warm lights. Smelled like cinnamon and burnt espresso. Joel sat across from me, still smiling. But he didn't blink. Like, literally. For at least the first 5 minutes, I didn't see him blink once. So, I said, trying to ignore the goosebumps crawling up my arms, "What made you pick this spot?" He tilted his head slightly, like he was computing something. Then answered, "I like the lighting." The way he said it, there was a lag, like he had to find the words in the right order. I forced a laugh. "Not the coffee?" That smile again. "The coffee is a bonus." It wasn't just what he said, it was the timing. The slight delay. Like he was reacting to a script with a second's lag. Also, and this is going to sound nuts, his eyes didn't match his smile. They stayed cold, focused, not unfriendly, just wrong. Like they weren't synced to the rest of him. Midway through the date, I excused myself to the bathroom just to breathe. As I walked past the counter, I caught my reflection in the window and saw Joel watching me, but not at our table. He was standing near the door, staring. Expression blank. I blinked and looked back at our table. He was there, sitting exactly where I left him. But I swear, I saw him by the door, only for a second. In the bathroom, I locked the door and stared at myself in the mirror. My heart was racing. I told myself I was just tired, overthinking. Maybe I was projecting anxiety, but something wasn't adding up. I checked his profile again on my phone. All the photos were still there. But the smiling one? The one that made me swipe in the first place? It was gone, replaced with a different photo. Still him, same shirt, same background, but no smile. Expression neutral. Just staring. When I got back to the table, he was mid-sip of his drink. He looked up. "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just long day." He tilted his head again. "Do you feel observed?" I froze. "What?" He smiled. "I mean by the world. Like when you're being watched without knowing why." His tone was too casual. Like we'd been talking about that topic already. We hadn't. I tried to steer the conversation somewhere else. "What do you do for work again?" Another pause. "I'm in user experience design." It sounded rehearsed. I asked, "For what kind of company?" "One that collects feedback." After the coffee, I said I needed to go. He offered to walk me to my car. I declined. Said it was just around the corner. He didn't argue, but as I walked away, I could feel his eyes on me, like they were drilling into the back of my neck. I turned the corner, broke into a fast walk, got to my car, locked the doors, sat there, breathing, and then my phone buzzed. A message from Joel. "You're very aware of inconsistencies." That's good. I didn't respond to Joel's message. I couldn't. "You're very aware of inconsistencies." That's good. It read like a compliment, but the way it landed, it felt like a warning. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the coffee date in my head over and over, like a surveillance tape. The too wide smile, the strange questions, the vanishing photo on his profile, and the duplicate I saw near the door. Could it have just been a trick of the light? My own reflection? A customer who looked like him? That's what I told myself. But I didn't believe it. The next morning, I checked the Catch app. Joel's profile was gone. Not unmatched dash deleted dot, like he'd never been there. I still had the messages, but his photo had turned into a blank gray icon. No name, just user not found. I tried Googling him, searched social media, looked through my email to see if he ever left his full name, or any clue to who he actually was. Nothing. No Joel matching his description in the city. No UX designer at the company he mentioned. No record of his name on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Nowhere. The only evidence he ever existed was our chat log, and even that felt like it was starting to decay. Some of the messages had disappeared. When I tried scrolling up, long parts of our earlier conversations were missing. Only fragments remained. Not all smiles are human. They slip up when they forget to blink. We're not supposed to notice. That was when I remembered something he said. "We only collect feedback." I thought it was just vague tech guy speak. But what if it wasn't? What if that was literal? The following night, I got a phone call from an unknown number. I didn't answer, but the voicemail transcribed itself. "You noticed the difference. You saw the smile. You're part of the review now." What review? Who was we? Why me? The next day, my phone started glitching. Apps opening on their own. Camera flicking on, then off. Notifications popping up, then disappearing. Then, while I was brushing my teeth, I saw it on the foggy bathroom mirror, a fingerprint. Not mine, 5 smudged prints. At the outside of the glass dot, as if someone had been watching from the other side. I finally told someone. My friend Tasha. She listened, eyes wide, phone on the table. She didn't laugh. Didn't call me paranoid. She said, "He sounds like something pretending to be a person." That stuck with me. Pretending. That smile. It wasn't human. It was an impression of human. A simulation. A sketch. Later that night, Tasha texted me. "Hey, are you okay? Just matched with someone named Joel. Looked kinda familiar." I froze. I called her. "Don't meet him." She laughed. "Relax, I just thought the photo was weird. He's got this dead smile. Block him, right now, I'm serious." She said okay. But the next morning, I got another text. "Hey, did I see you downtown last night?" "No. You walked right past me. You didn't say anything. But you smiled." I hadn't left my apartment in 2 days. Whoever she saw, it wasn't me, but it was wearing my face. I started noticing it more. People looking at me a second too long. Baristas saying "back so soon?" when I hadn't been there in weeks. Strangers smiling at me like they knew me. And every time I caught a reflection in a car window, a dark TV screen, a store mirror, the expression didn't always match mine. Sometimes just for a split second. It smiled when I didn't. Then the dream started. In them, I'm always sitting across from Joel. But it's not him. It's the version from the photo. The perfect smile version. He never blinks. Never speaks. Just sits there watching me. Behind him, there are dozens of screens, each one showing me on different dates with copies. One smiles too soon. One stares too long. One laughs at a joke I haven't told yet. All of them glitch. All of them smile. I finally smashed my phone. That gave me about 24 hours of peace. Until I woke up to my laptop open and my webcam light on. A video file was playing. It was me, sitting at my desk, staring, smiling, except I don't remember recording it. And the smile on the screen, it wasn't mine. Too wide, too stiff, just like Joel's. I moved out. Changed numbers, changed devices. No dating apps, no photos online. But it didn't matter. A week ago, someone knocked on my door. When I looked through the peephole, there was no one there. But later that night, I found a note slid under the door. Typed, "No handwriting. Your feedback has been received. You were correct. His smile was faulty. Your input has been used to improve future iterations." No signature. Just a PS. "We've archived your likeness for future testing." Since then, people keep saying they've seen me in places I've never been. Grocery stores, bus stops, at their jobs, always smiling, always with someone new. I'm scared to look in the mirror too long now. Not because I don't recognize myself, but because sometimes I do. And I can't tell if it's really me smiling back.